Hello and welcome. My name is Jody Olette, and I want to welcome you to this informational video presentation. Over the past 9.5 years working in the home business and MLM industry, I am really speaking to you and coming from a place of experience. See, I've certainly had my share of challenges and frustrations. I know what it feels like to struggle, to work hard, to wonder what is going on, why are the results not coming as quickly as I want. I know what it feels like to have more month at the end of my money and wondering how in the world am I going to pay the mortgage. Now, I have also had my share of success, earning many top 10 awards in my company, driving company paid Mercedes and Lexus, and traveling to many exotic locations over the past 9.5 years. And so no matter what the struggles or challenges you face, I am here to tell you that your freedom is worth the price that you will pay. You see, there's always a price. Either you pay the price up front or you pay it later. And if it's later, I can pretty much guarantee you the cost will be greater. So chances are you are here either because you're looking for a home business, an opportunity, maybe you need to supplement your income, maybe you need a new career, maybe you simply want to transition out of your current job or your current business, or you just want to be educated about the industry and how to select the right company and the right fit for you. And so what I'm going to teach you in this video is very simple. It is designed to educate you because 9.5 years ago when I was searching for a business, I did not know this information. I was not educated about the industry. And so what I am going to be teaching you is really the truth about network marketing. You're going to learn the fundamentals of human nature, understanding what people want and what they don't want. I'm also going to teach you the most widely used business models in the home business industry and how you can use this information to make a good, solid decision about the type of company that you want to work with, because ultimately that's going to help you to build a profitable business and a secure future. So let's go ahead and talk about the fundamentals. First of all, I want to talk about the facts about our industry. Whether you're involved in network marketing now, or you've been introduced to it, sometime in the past, or you've been pondering the idea, here's the fact. Network marketing has built both a positive and a negative reputation in the marketplace. And so I really want to help you to understand where that comes from. So first of all, let's talk about the negatives. First of all, we have the assumptions of pyramid. People just simply do not understand what it is. And so you hear, people say things like, oh, one of those pyramid things, where the people who got in first are at the top and they make all of the money off of everyone else. We also have the negative of old school marketing methods. The 3-foot rule. I think everybody's afraid of having to sell or pitch their friends and family members on their opportunity or their products. The 3-foot rule is not just people but talk to anybody within 3 feet of you and try to get them to join your business or buy your products. Maybe you've seen some sort of company replicated website, or you've used one maybe. Maybe you have bought internet opportunity seeker leads, which is basically an opportunity to pitch and sell somebody about how great your opportunity is. Maybe you've hosted opportunity meetings or hotel meetings, or maybe you've been invited to them yourself. Now, I'm certainly not going to tell you that all old school marketing methods are bad and don't work, because they do. I mean, it's been proven. There's enough people in this industry that have generated millions of dollars using these methods. However, I find that they're not very attractive marketing methods because, again, people don't want to be chasing their friends and family members. And also, in my opinion, I feel that they are more personality driven than anything. Now, the next thing is that we have the financial bleeding problem. And this is where people spend themselves out of business before they make a real profit. And that's usually because they're paying for maybe expensive advertising, expensive leads, or product. We also have negative feedback and lack of experience, which is really because of the huge boom in this industry over the last several years, most people know somebody who failed in a home business. Whether it was Uncle John or my cousin Sally or my neighbor got started in one of those companies and lost money. Therefore, it doesn't work. And that's all about perception. Now, there's also lack of understanding of the commitment for most MLM companies, and I'm not saying all, and we're going to talk about that more specifically a little bit later. But here's reality. Most people, even though they will say to you that they don't want a get-rich-quick scheme, they really do. And when it takes too long for the big residual income checks to flow, they tuck tail, they run, they quit. Okay? So let's go ahead and talk about the positive reputation. Here is reality. Higher income opportunity. Network marketing has created more millionaires than any other industry. Today we have added credibility thanks to some very big names out there like Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, these guys have incredible reputations in business. They both recommend and promote network marketing. In fact, Donald Trump has even started his own MLM company. Another positive is that you're not building something from the ground up in the traditional sense. You know, having to do product research and development, manufacturing, branding, marketing, customer service, signage, employees, insurance. I mean, the list goes on, and that can cost upwards of millions of dollars to do this. And so in this industry, you get to take advantage of the experience, the expertise, and ultimately the bank account of the parent company. Another positive, contrary to the assumption of pyramids, this is actually a level playing field. You know, I used to laugh when people would tell me, oh my gosh, when I first got started, that will never work. Oh my gosh, you have got to get in on the ground floor or you will never make any money. Now keep in mind, my company was in existence for 15 years by the time I got started. Within 6 months, I was able to quit my job. My first year, I was driving a company-paid Mercedes SUV, which was the first brand new car I'd ever owned. I mean, 15 years, that's hardly ground floor. See, the level playing field is this. There are just as many seats at the top of the compensation plan as there are people that want to be there. In a traditional company, there is only one CEO at the top of the pay scale. We all have the same opportunity here to build as big as we want. And lastly, we can build an empire that will continue to pay us residual income that could change everything for our family for generations. Now, I'm not suggesting that the current company you're working with will continue to pay residual income checks forever, but what I am suggesting is what you do with those large commission checks, how you invest those large commission checks can continue to pay dividends that can support your family for generations. So now that you have a better understanding of really the industry as a whole, if we're going to build a business, okay, and be able to use a system to help people, we need to realize, first of all, that this involves people. We need to know a little bit about human nature, what people want and what they don't want. Now, there are really just a few things here that I have learned about human nature, and while the details may differ slightly from person to person, the big picture concepts are common among all. Number one is people want to have true time and financial freedom. Now, those are really the superficial responses, okay? It's not time and money. What it really is about is what those two items provide, what it allows a person to do. See, people want the time and the money to do basically what they want, what they enjoy, whatever their passions may be. Second thing is people want to be able to enjoy a comfortable and rewarding lifestyle. Now, what I mean by that is living above just a comfortable level of being able to pay the bills or even take a vacation now and then, but it's about living life fully, about abundance to give more to organizations they support, to be able to pursue other ambitions, to really live their personal dreams. And number three, people want to eventually be able to fully relax and even retire in style someday. And what I mean by this is it's really about security. See, we live in a society where people work their entire life to retire, to watch their income decrease. Okay? People don't want to see their income decrease. They want to be able to enjoy life in the same way that they did while they were working, only having more time to do it, right? And so what people are really looking for is the ability to know that when they do retire, that income is not going to drop. They'll still be able to travel when they want, where they want, how long they want, and they don't have to worry about how much is sitting in that bank account. See, that is about security, and that is about being able to really relax in retirement. Okay, so now that we know more about what people want, we also need to understand more about what people don't want, because here's the key. When we're looking at making good, solid business decisions, both of the business models that we're going to talk about next absolutely tie into what people want and what they don't want. So let's talk about what people don't want. First of all, I want to tell you that generally, people do understand the concept of building a business through people or through advertising or internet marketing to build the foundation, okay? But they do not want to be in a constant recruiting mode, always having to bring new people into their business, finding new customers, and they certainly don't want to have to do it for the rest of their lives. One of the other things is that generally people will get started in business. They will go ahead and move product. A lot of times it's the sheer excitement of their new business, or maybe it's their belief in their products or their service. And some people will even do it for a few years, move product consistently. But sooner or later, they don't want to have to do the same thing over and over again. So it is better to be safe and assume that a system that is going to be successful doesn't require that people have to constantly sell every week or even regularly to be successful at it. Now, as much as we want to see that, it is not something that we can count on. Also, people do not want to have to rebuild their business when it falls apart on them multiple times. See, people don't want to be on a success roller coaster. Can you imagine putting time and effort into building a business only to wake up and have it crash and burn? It is emotionally taxing, and people want a business that will stand the test of time. Just like when you built your house, you didn't expect that you'd build it and 5 or 10 years later you'd have to rebuild it again. See, you built your house with the understanding that once it was built, you would need to maintain it, right? I mean, obviously there's going to be work that needs to be done, but you're not going to keep rebuilding your house over and over again. And it's the same thing in business. People want to build it to the point where they want it, get their income to the point where they want it, and then be able to maintain. Okay, so now we have a better understanding of human nature. Let's go ahead and talk about the two most popular business models used in the home business industry. And excuse me while I take a drink. Okay, so what we're talking about here is traditional MLM and top tier direct sales. So what we're going to be talking about is, first of all, traditional MLM. Let's look at the pros and the cons, okay? First of all, the compensation plan in traditional MLM is based on recruiting a downline, okay? Building a large team and earning residual commissions on the volume your team produces each week or each month. It is based on the auto ships of current members and the volume of new members. In a traditional MLM, the startup cost is usually pretty low, which is why it attracts so many people. It could be anywhere between typically $50 to $300 for startup, and a monthly auto ship of anywhere between $30 to $150, depending on the company. Now, companies of this type are mostly in the health and wellness arena, nutrition, beauty-based, anything that is really related to a consumption type product. The attraction is definitely in the passive income, again from the auto shipments, and usually the dream of having a massive team and massive checks with low operating costs does make it easier to recruit. Now let's look at the cons. The low cost tends to attract more hobbyists, okay? Which means that there is less duplication from the majority because you have less in terms of your serious business builders. And so it requires, having a handful of superstar recruiters in your team. Now, most companies sell you the dream. They sell you the success picture, but they fail to tell you that it will take you about 3 to 5 years on average to build a livable income, being the reason for the high attrition rate. Now, don't get me wrong. I really feel that this is not intentionally misleading or that they leave this information out on purpose. I believe that it is really the excitement that people have when they look at the vision of what can be accomplished in this industry or in this business model. And the challenge is that because of that excitement, they fail to set up proper expectations. And if your results don't meet your expectations, that's where people get discouraged and ultimately quit. See, on average, the annual attrition rate is about 85% because if people are not making money quickly, they quit and they cancel their auto shipment. Now, the other negative is that there is a lack in long-term security. In a day where MLM companies come and go with the wind, the company could go out of business by the time you actually build a sizable team. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons of top-tier direct sales. So let's understand this business model. With this type of business, the compensation plan is based on a higher ticket item. It is a one-time purchase product that can cost anywhere between $1,000 to $10,000 or more, depending on the company. Now, in this business model, you get paid a large commission up front and sometimes additional income based on team members' production, but it is certainly not an ongoing residual plan. The pros of this type of program is that you get paid today. They're also known as GPT programs, so you don't have to wait to build a team to earn the larger commissions. Now, because the commissions are larger, you could build a significant job-replacing income faster in this type of program. Another positive is that because the upfront cost is higher, you will tend to sort out the hobbyists and attract more serious players. And lastly, because of the one-time higher cost of investment, there is a more business ownership environment established, which does really lend to the lower attrition rate. Now, let's look at the negative side. Higher entry cost can lengthen the sales cycle. In other words, it can take a person longer to make the decision before joining you. Also, because there is no residual income in this plan, if you want to continue to make a decent income, you must continue to sell over and over again, because if you stop, the income stops. And lastly, the higher cost, it can sort out, the candidates that, even though they may be a good fit, they may really want to do it, but they just simply cannot afford the startup cost. Now, the idea here is, again, I'm not here to persuade you towards one business model or another. I am simply here to educate you. And the great news is that these two business models are not the only choices, okay? Before we get into more information, I want to really talk about the keys to a successful business, because not only do we need to understand the business models, but there's also some very key components that we need to evaluate in making good, solid business decisions. Number one, you want to look at the company. You want to make sure that you have a solid company, a company that you can count on, that has a proven track record, solid financials, solid leadership, and solid values. You also want to look at the products. You want products that are unique. You don't want to have products that every ABC company out there carries. They need to be easy to use, products that are in line with current market trends, and also that deliver more value than its cost to the end user. Now, the third component you want to look at is the compensation. Ultimately, the compensation plan should give you the ability to create profits right away and also provide for that long-term residual income with unlimited growth potential. And lastly, you want to look at the system. You really want to make sure that you have a process that creates income and growth that is not only simple, that it's duplicable, and has the support and training in place to implement it. And that is really the key. And so not only, do we need to understand, again, the dynamics of the business, but we also want to make sure that if we're really choosing the right company, it does carry the 4 key components to a successful business model. So now, how exactly does this help you? First of all, you've probably heard the old statement that knowledge is power. And I believe that is absolutely a false statement. What I believe is that applied knowledge is power. See, once you have the information, you are then better equipped to go out there in the marketplace and make good business and good investment decisions. And so you're asking, okay, what exactly is the best home business model? Well, truthfully, that really depends on you. It depends on what you like, what your passions are, what your goals are, what you're looking to get in return. But here is my opinion. The best home business model is one that combines not only both strategies, but combines more diversity in the compensation plan. Okay? And that is exactly what I am going to be teaching you next. So you're asking, what is my next step? As I mentioned, this is part 1 in a 2-part video series. What I'm going to teach you in part 2 is exactly what I do. See, I may not have known this information when I got started in business, but I was very blessed to have an opportunity that actually combines the best of both worlds. And so what do you do next? Go ahead, move on to part 2 of this video presentation training series. I look forward to seeing you at the next video, and I look forward to sharing in your success.